What is up everyone, welcome to another camera comparison video. Let's start differently. This is a 400% crop of a portrait image without colors. And I see more details and sharpness on the right. Yes, both the smartphones failed to detect earrings of Karina the model. Now it's 200% crop and I truly believe that image on the right looks better. Now let us get back the colors and what do you think? Which one is Redmi K30 Ultra? Yes, finally this is 100% scale of the image and now you know which one is grabbed with which smartphone. One goes dark and another adds artificial blue tint to the sky and saturates the image a bit. Yes, these are portrait photos and it was dusk, sun was setting at the background, ambience wasn't that bright and X7 Pro did great with better exposure and white balance. Edge direction is equally poor on both and Redmi K30 Ultra is edge ahead with its creamy bokeh effect. Yes, Redmi K30 Ultra portrays reality but Realme X7 Pro is social media ready. Things are similar even if it's not a portrait. These images were taken with the main sensors of these smartphones in auto mode with auto HDR and AI enabled. What hurts Realme is its additional hue and that poor auto enhancement under low light environment. On the other hand, Redmi K30 Ultra tried to keep things close to reality and failed to detect and manage well-lit areas, applied the same brightness and contrast throughout the images, which made the whole image a bit dark and pale. If you check carefully, both of these two blow in the background, but Realme, with its added tint, tried to compensate and make things look creative. Yes, skin tone and color grading is better and true to life on Redmi K30 Ultra images, but I bet most of the people wouldn't say K30 Ultra did better than X7 Pro, at least in low light harsh lighting condition. I had 6 smartphones with me when I took these night mode photos and these two produced the worst results. Yes, other 4 are flagships and these two are nowhere near to any flagship in night mode. Even Redmi K30 Pro and Realme X50 Pro Player Edition is far better. If you have a tripod or gimbal, then these two can produce something nice but in general very ordinary. Realme X7 Pro with more details in the shadows and sharpness offers better night mode photos among these two. This is really difficult to make a statement which one is better in long exposure photography, cause sometimes I found that Realme X7 Pro processed textures with perfection and sometimes Redmi K30 Ultra with its better noise removing algorithm got edge ahead. One thing I must mention that in difficult lighting condition Redmi K30 Ultra produces images with better color tone. Realme X7 Pro sometimes fails due to its poor denoising algorithm. Once again, a lot of things are preferential and a lot depends on condition. It's like performance jumps back and forth between these two. If you want, you can record 4K videos in true low light environment, but I wouldn't do that. Yes, Realme X7 Pro offers better performance, but that is not as good as any other flagships. I think I'm a bit harsh here cause actually as a mid-range these two performs well. It's like there are a lot of hypes about these smartphones and people want to get flagship class performance from these two mid-range smartphones. I know some of the viewers will argue cause we all have difference in preference. Please don't forget to make a comment with your thoughts and ideas. Things are better when you try to record at 1080p 30 frames per second. Redmi K30 Ultra is way ahead with better denoising, brightness and selective exposure. Realme with its aggressive color grading and exposure ruins the originality. Yes, in daytime under bright daylight, both of these two performs great. This is like surprisingly amazing. I have tried both Redmi K30 Ultra and Realme X7 Pro side by side with other flagships in daytime and most of the time both performed pretty good. Let me mention about the white balance and saturation issues at the beginning. Realme X7 Pro and Redmi K30 Ultra both have this white balance issue and this jumps back and forth between these two. On top of it, Realme X7 Pro have saturation and exposure issue. It's like a random puzzle. Sometimes it's there and sometimes not. X7 Pro sometimes unnecessarily tries to brighten up the image and tries to increase midtones. Redmi K30 Ultra comes with Sony IMX682 and Realme X7 Pro comes with Sony IMX686. but I am surprised to see more details and higher dynamic range on images generated by Redmi K30 Ultra. Redmi has really improved its stock camera, and K30 Ultra processed all the textures with almost barely any loss of details. Yeah, K30 Ultra kept its exposure issue in daytime photos too. It's nothing serious cause usually it's pretty minimum that you wouldn't even notice. However, in harsh lighting condition, you will find it annoying. Most of the time, we don't even crop or zoom in photos taken with a smartphone. But if you check carefully, then you will find that Realme X7 Pro actually grabbed more details in the shadows. Also, shutter speed of Realme X7 Pro is better. Now, if you get happy by thinking that it is a trend, then you are wrong. It's like a scary roller coaster ride. You don't know when will you get better performance from one of these two. Sometimes it's Redmi K30 Ultra and sometimes it's Realme X7 Pro. Depending on personal preference and difference in outcome in different environment, I think Realme X7 Pro is edge ahead. Ultra-wide shots are no different than those of the main sensor shots. Before you do any type of judgment, remember that these are mid-range smartphones. Okay, I am happy and amazed with the ultra-wide shots, especially Realme X7 Pro is truly amazing. Yes, dynamic range is again better on Redmi K30 Ultra, however, other than that, everything is better on Realme X7 Pro. At a glance, it may seem that Realme X7 Pro is a bit overexposed and saturated, but if you crop in, then you will find the difference. Yes, I know sometimes it's hard to differentiate, but Realme X7 Pro actually grabs more details and textures. Color grading is also better on Realme X7 Pro, but the issue is it doesn't happen consistently. It's more like a random performer. None of these two comes with a telephoto lens, and I know there are two other lenses like depth and macro. I would prefer a telephoto lens at the expense of those two useless gimmicks. In 2x digital zoom, Redmi K30 Ultra blown away Realme X7 Pro. I have cropped in and you can check by yourself. If you are not watching this video at 1080p, then you may find it difficult to get the differences. Please watch this video at a higher resolution to understand the differences. In terms of textures and details, Redmi K30 Ultra is way ahead with its newer and better post-processing of 2x digital zoom image. Once again, this is all about personal preferences when it comes down to nitpicking. Yes, we have to do some crazy nitpicking to decide which one is better in indoor artificial lighting. Saturation and white balance again plays that eeny meeny miny mo game. Once Redmi got awful white balance, then Realme X7 Pro comes up with awful saturation. I am sure some viewers will say I am rude, but truth is truth and I am here to share the truth. It's nothing like any flagship, no trend, no consistency. But if you wanna know which one is better among these two, then Redmi K30 Ultra will get a few extra points for better color grading and rendering. I'm sure Realme will come up with updates and fix some of the issues. In terms of details and sharpness, Realme X7 Pro is ahead a bit, but Redmi did very well to process the textures, and I'm very happy that both of these two did far better than any other mid-range smartphones to identify and manage brightness of well-lit areas. The main difference remains the color grading, but as I have mentioned earlier, white balance jumps back and forth, especially in ultra-wide shots, it's more visible. Redmi K30 Ultra AI always tries to smoothen and artificially process the white background. I don't know why, but sometimes it's not that lucrative. I am surprised that Realme X7 Pro 2x digital zoom works far better in indoor low light environment. It's like a magical difference between indoor and outdoor 2x zoom photos. These videos were recorded at 4K 30 frames per second, as K30 Ultra cannot record videos at 4K 60 frames per second. Check the videos and audio recording quality and you will see some differences. I want you to watch these clips carefully. Yeah, these are recorded at 1080p 30 frames per second and I was walking carelessly. Check the jelly effect on the left and then check amount of details, dynamic range and change in exposure. Have you found the differences? Take your time and you will find that even if Redmi K30 Ultra have white balance issue, actually K30 Ultra reproduced more textures and sharpness. but Realme X7 Pro as usual is a brighter and got better stability. I truly forgot about the selfies, and after finished editing I have found about that. I asked Karina and she took some quick selfies and selfie portraits, first with K30 Ultra and then with X7 Pro. There is a 5 to 10 minutes delay between the shots. Karina thinks that she looks better on Redmi K30 Ultra selfies, but I prefer the shots on Realme X7 Pro. More realistic, and I see more details on the face, more textures, and it's like the reality versus the beauty. Yeah, beauty effect was disabled on both, but Redmi K30 Ultra always tries to beautify, even if you don't like it. Selfie portraits looks almost the same, it's like with some added blur effect at the background. But I'm really surprised to see the amount of details and perfect color grading on Realme X7 Pro. K30 Ultra is way behind in this segment. Edge detection is also far better on Realme X7 Pro. Okay, it's time to wrap up. If you have watched through this video, then you should have got a conclusion. Which one is your winner? Please let me know in the comment section below. Also, if you have liked this video, then please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel.
This must be fate, must be a sign, so lost here, lost forever. Love being stuck here.